Everything, Mike, if you can. Peace, power, and love. It's your one and only Consul, Sheshmar Moon. And we are back once again. Team Osiris, always on the horizon, always on the cutting edge of information. And we are actually going live tonight in an impromptu fashion because we had a chain of events that happened on the East Coast of the United States. I believe Harlem, I'm not sure. But we had an organization that was a staple, that is a staple in one of our neighborhoods. And it was actually raided by the IRS, Criminal Investigations Unit, the New York City Special Narcotics Unit, and the Homeland Security Investigations Unit. And it was covered by various press organizations. And I pulled an article up and I'm going to read it. And, you know, Team Osiris, we wanted to take an opportunity to bring to light the rise of white supremacy, not taking an opportunity to judge an organization that has been a staple in the community for many years. We actually have a really good friend of mine, a brother that's part of that church, very respectful brother, man, and we've grown to know each other, and I got a lot of respect for, and that's the brother Hebrew Perry, who's actually going to have the opportunity just to speak his opinion. I think we need to maintain focus, though, that we cannot have these kind of problems in our communities without checking outsiders that come in our communities. We have to make sure that everyone is treated fairly and treated with justice, because this has become a national issue. It's probably going to go over a lot of news venues, but what I haven't noticed as of yet is any raids on these white supremacist organizations. And why was this church labeled a hate group by this independent group? And I'm going to tell you the name of the group. But what I want to do is I want to read the press release. This was written by Turno Clark. And what it states is federal and local law enforcement agents swarmed the headquarters of a hate group Tuesday morning to execute a search warrant in relation to an investigation into financial irregularities. Now, let me make this clear. This is this journalist's impression or opinion of it being a hate group, and that is definitely not needed. And let me make this clear. This gentleman appears to be an African American. I'm not sure what he is, but by his picture, that's what he appears to be. And this is the psychological effects of white supremacy, because to label someone a hate group is very, very extreme and can be very damaging to an ignorant ear. So I want to really make that abundantly clear, that we have to be careful in saying the things that we say in our own communities. And he goes on to say, the anti-white Israelite Church of God in Christ on Madison Avenue in Harlem was roped off with police tape about 9 a.m. Its agents wearing jackets bearing the logos of the FBI, the Criminal Investigation Units of the IRS, and the New York City Special Narcotics Unit and Homeland Security Investigations Unit went inside. And so, quote, I start a quote, today the FBI executed court-authorized law enforcement activity at multiple locations in furtherance of an ongoing investigation, end quote, a spokeswoman for the FBI said. The investigation is being spearheaded by the FBI field office in Newark. A source said that the feds are looking into the group's bookkeeping. The group has 4 locations in New Jersey. He goes on to write, an IRS agent at the scene confirmed there was an active investigation into the church, but it was not clear what officials were investigating. The agent declined to comment further. So members of the church can often be seen proselytizing on the street wearing colorful blue, black, and red tunics with sashes. They also often wear headdresses. The Southern Poverty Law Center has deemed the church a hate group, citing its leader, Jermaine Grant, who was called Chief High Priest of Zadok. He once prophesied that a vengeful Black Jesus would soon return to earth to kill or enslave all whites. A representative from the Harlem location of the church could not be reached for comment at the time. Now, this is the article that was put out there. And what I'm going to initially do before I put my 2 cents in on it, I'm going to allow Hebrew Perry, who is a member of that church, to kind of expound on this situation and his opinion, because he's a member of the church. So Hebrew Perry, I yield the floor to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, that's something that we put together as a people, and it's no surprise to me that the feds would come in and try to do what they do, try to criminalize it. But I'm gonna tell the people that's out there, in my opinion, I don't think nothing is gonna come out of this thing. You dig? I don't feel like this is gonna amount to nothing. You know, it is what it is. Now you're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna feel the way they feel, and they gonna sensationalize the situation and try to make their views go up based off of this. But ain't nobody gonna go to jail behind this shit. You know, any questions anybody want to ask me, I'm willing to answer.
Okay, bro. Well, let me ask you this question, man. How long has the church been in Harlem?
Since 1969.
1969. So it's been in the community for a very long time, and I'm sure a lot of community activity has come out of that church. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct.
Mm. So what's your opinion on some of the negative aspects that have been floating out there when people are saying, well, where's the Most High now? Where's the Hebrew Israelites God now? And it's mostly coming from Harlem. People saying that.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, the only thing I can say about that is y'all need to speak to the brothers like Jermaine Grant, so-called Jermaine Grant, or such a doc. You know what I mean? You need to speak to that brother about that. And let him explain it a lot better than I could. You know, but as Hebrew Israelites, we feel like everything in that Bible, the people that represent that Bible the best, is coming out of that church. A lot of Israelites have come out of that church, and they put their little spin on things, you know, to make themselves seem as if they came up with a new revelation. But at the end of the day, if we not interviewing them brothers from that church, then we don't really know exactly what's going on. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you another question. In your opinion, your faith being of Israelite nature, that is your culture, that's your faith. What do you think is going to be needed to kind of remove that stigma of us attacking one another? Because I think that what really motivated me tonight to want to talk about this, I think it's outright disrespectful and ignorant, more so than anything, that we are so quick to attack one another, but we don't deal with the oppressor that's in our face every single day. It should have been a community outcry that an organization has been in the community since 1969. Has that been the same location Since that long?
Well, we was originally set up on West 125th Street, and then we moved to 1649 Madison Avenue on 125th Street. You know, but at the end of the day, as you can see, it's nothing that's that serious. They coming at cats based on taxes. They not coming at cats on no molestation charges or violent or drug dealing or guns or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Based on just, you know, whatever they can get niggas on. And like I said earlier, I don't feel as if this is gonna amount to anything at the end of the day. Now you're dealing with
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
you're dealing with an Israelite church that don't fuck with nobody. You know what I mean? We don't speak on nobody. We don't deal with nobody. We been doing this shit the way we've been doing it, off the radar. And I just think that this is their attempt to try to destroy that organization. I don't feel as if it's gonna amount to anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My thing I want to add to it is like, this is a perfect example of individuals that are so-called applauding it. This is a perfect example of you know, the elder Neely Fuller, when he says that everything around you is going to be confusing unless you understand white supremacy and the tools that's used to carry it out. If we don't see that this is an attack, like the brother said, that it was no mention of illegal drugs or pedophilia, any of that, like they had tried to put that so-called mark on other individuals in the past. This is a group of people, from what I'm reading, on the church, that they was basically keeping to themselves and being positive in it. And I think those individuals that are applauding that, they are confused individuals. No matter what ideology that somebody holds, that's a brother. That's somebody that we still share DNA with. You know what I'm saying? And I really think that us and also, other individuals, we need to really go ahead and study the system of white supremacy, racism, and see the tools that's being carried out. Because for what I'm seeing is just like, only thing I can say is, like the brother said, maybe this might be something, or maybe something that the Most High wanted to make that so-called church be more transparent. Maybe that's the reason, because they wasn't transparent. And I still don't think that that's a valid reason for them to be raided. We seen this tax evasion thing happen before with other individuals, as far as black leaders, as far as Wesley Snipes. We also seen it as far as when they couldn't hold charges on Larry Hoover with the tax evasion, and also Jeff Ford. And if we would look back on the articles, at least of those two individuals, Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover, the main thing on that article, they didn't say that they was murderers or anything like that. They said that these are the individuals that can unite all black youth. Now, we know that, educated black male or black female is dangerous to the system of white supremacy, racism. So with this church, standing on what they supposed to be on, and basically not coming at anybody else, like Hebrew Perry just said, and they basically focusing on themselves and basically everybody that's in their circle, that's a major threat. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go ahead and look at this and really go back and investigate things and really understand, try our best to understand the tools that's used by white supremacy racism to you know, attack us. And then like I also said that, you know, those individuals that's applauding it, they're only you know, perpetuating the so-called white supremacy racism that's going on. I mean, I don't see any brother that's really serious about uniting his people, no matter what ideology that he stands on. If he sees another brother get arrested by these so-called individuals and stuff, by the system of white supremacy racism, that I mean, I don't see how it isn't in your DNA or how it isn't in your emotions or anything to feel something for that brother and want to, you know, have some type of condolences or want to reach out to help or have some type of suspicious to, you know, to stand as a solid. I feel like this is a great example that, come on, man, we don't understand it as far as white supremacy racism, and we need to. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and yield the floor because I want everybody to go ahead and say their part. But I really feel like a lot of us that so-called conscious, the sister KK said unconsciously, consciously unconscious of the system, you know. So that's all I have to say right now on that piece.
Yeah, well said, bro. Well said. You know, it's real important that what we take from this is that there's a dividing line. And I think a lot of us have gotten comfortable with just complaining and not actually being proactive and reactive to specific situations. When things like this happen in our neighborhoods, we have to rally the point. We need to come to the aid and assistance of our brothers and sisters that live within our communities. Regardless of your creed or your belief system, this is what we have to do, because at the end of the day, the system of white supremacy puts us in classes. They do not individualize non-white people. I mean, me personally, I think that there's three classes of people. You deal with white people, you deal with white supremacists, and you deal with non-white people. And these three classes intermingle with each other, usually under the auspicity of commerce. And in this situation, commerce was the issue to call it a crime, a commercial crime, okay? And we're talking about taxes. We're not talking about any heinous crimes. This organization was not a detriment to the community, okay? It wasn't doing anything that was detrimental to the community. And we owe it to this organization to make sure that they maintain and continue to be a staple in the community. A lot of times people will attack each other over certain religious beliefs, particularly in the conscious community. We tend to want to attack a person's religion, not realizing that that particular religion may be the reason that that person is living a righteous life. Regardless of your concept of religion, maybe that religion got them off drugs. Maybe that religion got them a better understanding of life. Who are we to judge that when we all wear the same skin and we all grouped in as Negroes and niggas and fifth class people? And as these FBI agents stormed and raided these stores, everybody sat back and watched. Nobody questioned, nobody, hey, what are you doing? Asking the brothers if they needed help. Any valuables in there that they may be taking, they shouldn't be taking. Taking photos and pictures for those brothers, because you really don't know what's going on with that situation. And if it was taxes, did it warrant that? These are things that these are questions that we really need to start addressing, really need to start paying attention to, instead of these frivolous arguments over who you pray to. Because if this doesn't tell you, the system of white supremacy don't care who you pray to. It was insignias on the front of the building, on the facade of the building, that showed that this was regarded as a holy place. They had no respect for it. Now, this was another organization when I read that one article, okay? That particular article, that I read was from an independent source. It wasn't a national source. Okay, it didn't make the national news. However, ask yourself this question. Would the FBI raid the Vatican? Would they raid any other religious edifice the same way that they disrespected these brothers' holy place? These brothers deem this a place of worship, then it should be respected as such, because we do have freedom of religion here in America from the Constitution that the European drafted to begin with. These are a lot of pertinent situations that I feel we need to deal with psychologically, because a lot of the psychological effects that this could bring could be detrimental to our community. Brother Perry, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, bro. I'm listening.
I want to ask you a question. Do you think that other camps, I don't even like using that term, other churches, man, do you think that the other churches are going that Hebrew Israelite this could be a reason to possibly unify everybody in that culture?
No, I think that the other camps is going to gloat over this, as small as it may seem. And like I said earlier, I don't think nothing is going to come out of this. But I think the other camps is going to gloat over this, just basically off the fact that the elders that put this whole Israelite thing together, you know, you got two sets. You got the set in Chicago, and then you always had the set in New York. It started in 1969. Well, the ones that come out of the sets in New York, they're going to take this and they're going to run with it, you know, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And it's going to be some form of damage that's going to come to the name, because this is the true original Hebrew Israelite church. You know, the things that Johanna do as far as coming at the scholars that represent Kemet, and a lot of things that a lot of Hebrew Israelites do, this church would never do. You know, and like I said earlier, a lot of the main elders is still in this church. So I think this is just what those different sects needed to justify what they do.
Wow. So that's another paradigm. That's an interesting paradigm. It's interesting that you say that. So I know that we got some other organizations out there listening that are of our Hebrew faith. If you're out there listening, or you might be in the back chat and you want to come in and speak, please do. And let's try to use this as a catalyst for creating some constructive conversations, even between your own paradox. You know, we've had some really great organizations, the Nation of Islam, the Black Panther Party. We've had some really great organizations such as these that have come together in our communities, and at one point have been a staple in our communities. And we really have to get beyond the bigotry that racism and white supremacy perpetuates. Because even though as Black adult males and Black adult females, we've never had the opportunity to be in a position of power to be racist, we are definitely bigoted toward one another. And there's a difference between bigotry and racism. And it's a byproduct of poverty, and it's what be it poverty in social capital, poverty in economy, or poverty in everyday life, taking on things like trying to eat for the next day. These things create those 6 degrees of separation between our people, and it limits our growth. And this is what's so important, that we start changing the way that we do things, the way that we think. I really believe that certain situations like this don't need to be pushed by the wayside. It's not about looking to see if this organization is going to be hit with any legal issues. I think the biggest problem should be, how can we grow from it and start protecting what's ours? Because if we do got a problem with this organization, then let's keep that problem in the house then.
Mm-hmm.
Let's truly say that. Let's deal with it on a grassroots level so that we can protect ourselves from inquisitory third parties. There's no excuse for a third party agency to be bringing themselves into our neighborhoods, claiming that we're doing unscrupulous things. That means that it's COINTELPRO and it's subterfuge in our neighborhoods. That means that somebody that looked like me and you had to be sitting in that church while the daily works was going on. They're not going to knock on that door unless they got an 85% chance of being right. And even if this organization did not file taxes properly or did something irregular with taxes, everybody does that. Then Donald Trump should be in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Then Hillary Clinton should be in jail. Then Ronald Reagan should be in jail.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, because there's only taxes and paperwork. So we can't be catalysts of destruction by consistently bringing down people that look like me and you. We got to start having constructive conversation and bringing data to the forefront. I think we had some comments in the back, man. And anyone else want to expound, brother?
My thing, I wanna see what makes a group so-called labeled a hate group. Now I'm gonna go ahead and expound on the definition. A hate group is an organization or movement that advocates the practice and hospitality or violence towards members of a race, ethnicity, nation, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any designated section of a sector or of a society. Now, I don't really feel that should be that group or that church should have that title put on them, because it's no evidence of that so-called group going ahead promoting people to go ahead and promote hate, because hate stems from fear. So with the brothers that they standing strong on a book, I don't really look at what they was saying as anything as hate, and they wasn't going ahead and burning any white people businesses or going ahead and promoting violence and evidence of violence towards so-called white people. So I don't see why they're being labeled as a hate group at all. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get to that standpoint. And then another point is, like, if this is a so-called church, right? In the laws of white supremacy racism, the church is exempt from taxes. So what is the whole that we want to find something? It looks like they're searching, you know what I'm saying? Like they're searching for any and everything to try to go against this group brothers and sisters in the community that's really trying to better the community. And like you said earlier, if this is a so-called group, what's the group name again? Hold on, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Why haven't we heard of them going ahead and attacking many of white militia groups that are so-called, basically white supremacist groups? Because that's the first name that I see when I look up that group. They say they are against white supremacists. So why aren't we seeing them going ahead and shutting down or raiding white people or white supremacist so-called groups that's in the South, since their name is the Southern Poverty Law Center? So we're not seeing them attacking any so-called white supremacist groups out there, but they way up north in New York City, Harlem, of that, and they're attacking a group that's really trying to better the community and not even have any evidence of them so-called being a hatred group. So we got to look at all of these little points right here, right now, and as a whole, as a family, like Brother Consu said, this is a time where we supposed to aid and assist each other. That if you a lawyer, if you in law school, a brother or sister, man, this is the time that you supposed to go ahead and help your fellow brother to investigate this. Like he said, we supposed to be out there taking pictures, taking notes. All the files that they got is public record, so we need those files. You know, in the article, they're not really explaining much. It's kind of like you know, just you know, it's so much space in the article, so you don't really know what's going on. And even with the, like I said, they didn't even say that word tax evasion. They just said they are something with taxes. Something is, you know, some mishaps with taxes. They're a church, so a church is exempt from all taxes. So what's really the issue, and why aren't we seeing that these so-called white supremacist group being held under the same, you know, why aren't they getting raided? You know, we got to ask those questions, and I feel like those questions are very important. Those points are very important, and if we really love us, your household, because it don't matter what ideology that you hold, this is our household that's just been raided, and a group of people that's been just, you know, a center that's peace, that's a peaceful zone, no matter what's going on in Harlem right now. I feel like, man, that's an area that's you know, that we need to really focus on and try to help these brothers and sisters, because, you know, like the brother Perry said, we don't really know what's really going on, because the article is not saying nothing, is not being publicized. And then at the same time, when the media asks these so-called agents, FBI, what's going on, they don't have anything to say. So that means there's a lot going on. Why are these people being picked on? And then, you know, we already touched on the basis of those that, you know, should be you know, given aid and assistance, but they actually applauding this. And that's not right. That is not right. If you really love your brothers and sisters, man, we should be all together, unified, and investigate. And like the brother said, what positive can we get out of this? What constructive can we get out of this? This is a wake-up call for the so-called conscious community, if that is such thing, because I don't, you know, it's a very small community. But this is something that all of us, no matter what ideology that you searching, that you following under, that we need to be binding together. I hope you know, hopefully this bring us together. I hope this is something that, you know, the brothers and sisters that do you know, follow that faith, that they get strong and they want to, you know, have some more camaraderie with each other, and not some crabs in the barrel, because we know that the barrel is not the natural habitat of the crab. So we must go ahead and fight against that. But you know, I'm really this is really I'm not gonna lie, this pissed me off, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Let me say this, brother Hebrew, brother Perry. A lot of people will say that the Hebrew Israelites speak a lot of hate. Now, I'm going to say this before I ask your opinion on that term. I think it's passion. When we're talking about a religious text, it's a spiritual text first before it was organized into a religion. Once spiritually, anciently, people prostrated in this way based on their cultural affinity. Over modern times, once it was placed into modern text, it became religion, which is a modern organized form of ancient spirituality. So there is a difference when we talk about religion and spirituality. So when a person is passionate and they really believe in that spirituality, they're going to carry themselves a certain way. Okay, and it's not going to always be passive. So when people say that Hebrew Israelites are spewing hate, what is your answer to that, bro?
My thing is this, right? When it comes to that particular church, this is where it started at. I've heard Yohanan say that his church is the original church. The original church is this church that they prosecuting right now. The elders that Yohanan learned under is still at that church, right? And I think it's not a religion. I would think is we just tell blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians that you are the chosen people of God and you're supposed to be living this type of way. Now, when you got cats that want to go out here and make it their business to attack Kemet or Muslims or this, that, and the third, we fall back on that. We don't see the purpose of that. And I've never been the type, y'all know me from the back chats, I've never been the type to attack people because I learned from that church. You dig? It's either you believe or you don't believe. It's not a religious thing. Yes, we do feel that Africans is not a part of our group. Our main thing is Negroes, that's a part of the slave trade, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, Native American Indians. That's our people. That's how we look at it. And that's what we push. But we don't go out our way to disagree with cats that feel the way they do. You know what I mean? And I mean, look, this is just a sign of the times at the end of the day.
Well, you know what, man? Let me say this, brother. In this day and time, all the politically correct, scientific correct labels and titles is not going to matter to a geopolitical construct called the United States. When they hit your door with those letters on those jackets, they're not concerned with your technical title, whether it's proper or not. They're not looking for primary evidence. They got it already. And they already see you as a black individual. That's what they see. They're not worried about your sect or what you pray to. That's the least of their worries. That's not a concern for the United States. The United States deals with spiritual uprisings. Go look at Iraq and Tehran and Saudi Arabia, and it'll show you how America deals with religious wars. So that's not the situation on American soil. White supremacy, due to a horrible Holocaust called an African diaspora. We were falsely called slaves. We were prisoners of war. We are war victims, and we suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome, which is a byproduct of being a war criminal and subject to heinous crimes. And this has limited our ability to have empathy for one another as an ethnic group of people. We can't seem to get beyond the oppressor's actions of scrutinizing even our own people and holding them to ideologies. That makes no sense. That's not rational cognate thinking. There's no logic in that. Spewing out facts after facts to disembowel somebody's spirituality is not going to change your condition as a fifth-class citizen under white supremacy. You can be a black atheist, you still a nigger to the supremacists.
Right.
So that ain't gonna matter. You can pick and choose whatever you want to believe in. This is where the problem is. And this is why white supremacy does what it does, because it separates you mentally from the connection that you have with your own people. Now, listening to what Brother Perry is saying, this is what they have an affinity for. They got a right to do that. Shit, if somebody want a vanilla shake instead of a strawberry, they got the damn right to do that. Since when didn't you have a right to choice? If somebody want to walk outside and holler about what they do, they can do that, because you're not going to stop the European when they do it. If the European come and say, stay your ass in the house, you're going to stay in the house. You're not going to say, look, I'm coming outside. Oh, you are? Well, we're going to bring these tanks down this block, and we're not going to say it again. Stay in the house. You're going to stay in the house. So we don't have that same zeal to check one another, but we won't check the oppressor because we're repressing. We're finding low-hanging fruit each other, and we become cannibalistic in our mindset. because we think we can better each other by telling each other what we think they should think. Oh man, you believe in God? Let me crush this nigga right quick. I want him to feel like shit. What you gonna replace that God with?
Right, and that's the whole thing. Like, we talking about a group of people that was employing people. If I wanted a job, all that meant for me was that I had to take this thing extra serious. And if I was willing to take it extra serious, then that meant I really couldn't lie. I really couldn't have committed adultery. I couldn't do nothing sinful. And it's not even a religion. It's a nationality type of thing. Because if you're a cracker or Arab or African or anybody from any group other than Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you couldn't join. You know, but like I said, it's light. It's something that we don't like. This, what happened today is something that's still under the radar. And we don't know how this thing is going to turn out. You know what I mean?
Well, I could say this, and me being more of an agnostic distinction, if it matters, right or wrong, these are my people. See, this is the thing. The European can be right or wrong, but he or she never has to worry about the European letting them down. Right or wrong, they still got their nation. Right or wrong. And they'll make a wrong a right if they have to, because they're going to maintain supremacy within their nation. But us, we want to say, you're fake, you're not this, you're not that, and you're not that. Or we do the flip. We become narcissists and victimizers of those that are ignorant to the process. This is where the sickness lies, because we suffer from neurosis and psychotic issues. We really don't want to own up to the abuse that we've been subject to genetically, that has been passed through us genetically. Realize this, realize what the slave trade actually did to us. The slave trade wiped us off the planet as a direct descendant. It only kept us in a gene pool. We only know our gene pool at best. Even with modern science, they can only tell you genetically where you may be from in a certain area, but you still don't know as an individual who your original mother and father was due to that slave trade. It was horrific. It wasn't just your standard issue when the Japanese went against China, or the Polish and the Jews dealt with the German. It wasn't like that. It was beyond comprehension. When you left Africa and through diaspora, coming up from the Southern and Central Americas, you literally had no culture. We are completely Americanized. We are generated people. We have a generated culture with no center. And we argue over religion and spirituality. Religion and spirituality, religion is the organized form of spirituality. Religion has existed since the beginning of time. Africa always had a religious base because it came from spirituality, a relationship with nature. There is no atheist construct in an African paradox. You're not going to find any ancient Africans that were going around being atheists. It was something that tied them in spiritually. And that spirituality or that social construct became an institution within that ethnic group, a religion. You could be religious about fixing on a car.
Right.
Watching a television program.
Right.
You won't miss it for shit. You'll plan for it, organize it, DVR it. But we sit here and use the Europeans' words and are ignorant of the usage of the word. That's crazy.
No, Consul, absolutely right. My thing is like, it is what it is, right? A lot of brothers from the church will tell you that it was meant to happen this way. So we gonna see what transpired from this thing, away from now, to away from now. And that's going to be the real subject, you know. But right now, they ran down on niggas. They, you know, they put the yellow tape out based off of taxes. So we going to see, you know, what happened behind this. You know, what was it all about? How did it transpire? And why did it transpire? And I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers listening have an idea. The ones that's in the know, they have an idea why it transpired. But we're going to see how this thing is going to go in the future days that's coming up, right? And, you know, that's about as far as I can go right now. We're going to see how this thing turn out.
Well, I really hope it really turns out positive. I really hope that the brothers and sisters that sees this article, that might give them the initiative to go ahead and really see what the church has to you know, to offer to the community, and then be an asset to that church. So I'm looking at it as, you know, under white supremacy domination, they have a term that good or bad publicity is still good publicity. So, you know, since we are underneath white supremacy, racism dominate, you know, I really hope that or I really would like to see a lot of brothers and sisters that subscribe to that book to go check them brothers and sisters out. And this only make that them brothers and sisters real strong, gang membership, and you know, basically share the message of positivity amongst the brothers and sisters in that community, and it really you know, be gasoline to the fire of what they was already doing.
Right. And I totally agree with you all said. I totally agree with you, big bro. But at the end of the day, these brothers was working off the radar. They wasn't on no religious shit. And they was quiet. So unless them books is really, really fucked up, then this should let our people know that they can truly come at a nigga from any motherfucking angle. But like I said earlier, I don't think this thing is going to really amount to nothing. You know what I mean? This is my opinion. We shall see. We shall see.
Most definitely. Most definitely shall see.
Peace and hotel to the family. Shalom to you, brother Hebrew Perry. This is real quick. I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in. This is your brother Menace Meech Mayatson. If we don't consciously go after this at a serious note, because like it don't matter what religion or what organization it is, as long as it's a black organization, they're coming for every black organization after. This is a precursor of what can come. So look at your own doorstep, because they'll be soon after your taxes, after your books. We have people like Consul that have a great understanding of banking and financial institutions that can help with books and stuff like that. No matter what paradigm you come from religiously, we all need to be reaching out to each other and utilizing those assets that we have in our community. No matter what religious background anybody come from, organization is key between organizations. So peace and love. I'll yield the floor.
Right. And they was thoroughly organized. That group is thoroughly organized to the point where they don't even need to utilize YouTube. When you talk about Israelites, and you talk about the biggest Israelite group, it's them. The elders is still there. The ones that got this thing started is still there. Hell, I go as far.
Okay, we lost the brother Perry. He probably got a little internet interruption right there. But also, yeah, I understand where he was going with it, that this is the biggest Hebrew organization. And I just it's just a lot of suspicion. I really hope that you know, that it wasn't none of us that you know, pointing in that direction and you know, did something negative when towards a group that really was trying to bring some positive to the community. So, you know, I hope this is a wake up call, man, because like he said, you know, the brother Meech said, you know, me, we should look at this as everybody use their resources within the community to try to go ahead and help these and aid and assist these brothers and sisters to make sure that they go ahead and be able to continue on what they doing. I think also this isn't the first attack. Well, it's the first attack as far as you know, as far as these federales and stuff like that. You know, I think it was maybe like a couple months ago that I think even on Sinetta TV that they said that they have cameras outside of the studio and on the block, and watching them. So, you know, with this and that was going on, I hope that the community really sees that we are under attack, and we are under attack because basically we bringing something positive. We bringing something that people can be inspired about and have goals. So it's no different than our elders and ancestors from the past that was really trying to do something great for all of us. We got to really look at this, that, man, we need to aid and assist all brothers and sisters of the righteous invaders and stuff like that, that, man, we got to be there for each other, and hopefully we can get somewhere, you know. I yield the floor for the brothers.
No, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you covering for me too, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and brother Nazir hit on a key point. Not brother Nazir, I think it was brother Menace. Regardless of our differences, our social differences and our political differences, these are things that are always going to be there. In any social environment or culture, you're going to have differences and polarity of differences, but that has nothing to do with the progression of your culture and the preservation of your culture. This is why we have to study white supremacists, because if you look at the white supremacists, they will preserve their culture by any means necessary, even to the point where they will put their own people in peril. They already look in the business mind that there's going to be profit and loss. So they've written off a certain number of their own in order to maintain their perpetual dominance in a supremacist fashion. The mind of the supremacist is totally different than the mind of a racist. Okay, two different parameters here, because the supremacist will assimilate to any form in order to maintain its supremacy. It will adopt to any culturalistic society in order to maintain its supremacist status. And the supremacist has no regard for color, because the supremacist can be in a black face as well as a white face. White supremacy is the mentality, because the European has put themselves in a supremacist position by undermining people in general, even their own, because of their nature of inferiority. We have to have the ability to study our own history and world history to get solutions and answers. When we talk about a revolution, you name me one revolution that has been done by a group of ethnic people that didn't require bloodshed. And I'm going to wait on that. You tell me one revolution that was won with some books or some laws. Tell me one in history. I'll wait for it. So are we really ready?
This
shit has some blood.
Hold on, Console.
Go ahead.
That's what's so significant about this situation. That's why we gotta wait and see how this shit turn out. You know what I mean? Because if this turned out to be just another situation where cats can't win, they revolution because it wasn't no bloodshed, then we know what it is right off the top. Everybody should know what it is. So we gonna see how this shit turn out, my nigga. That's the bottom line. But right now, the shit is still light. Like we still don't know. You know what I mean? They did what they did, but we still don't know how it's gonna turn out. You know, that's the bottom line.
Well, do we know how many people was arrested or taken in, or what was the actual charges of the individuals that was taken in? Do we have anything on that?
Nah, nobody was arrested. It's just something. They ran down, confiscated everything. So we got to see what they come up with. But so far, nobody went to jail. Nobody was arrested. You know what I mean? So we got to see. We gonna see.
And see, the biggest issue here is that it needs to be publicized in this fashion, in this type of forum, because we need to be galvanized. The brother Menace made a statement. I've heard this before, and this is very powerful. White supremacist #1 rule of thumb is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's where we really have to start focusing our energy on. It's okay to debate. Let me say this, debate is healthy. Okay, it's good brain food. And we're going to debate until the end of time. That's just what we're going to do. You know, we're cerebral people. However, under the light of what we're put in, which is genocide by means of war, genetic warfare, we have to pull ourselves together and put ourselves in a position to even go to war. We're not even in that position. I'm looking at Harlem. Harlem, when we talk about the so-called conscious community, is probably the mecca of that right now. The majority, excuse me, of your pragmatic figures, they come out of Harlem. So Harlem, what you gonna do? You got an organization that's been around since the late 60s. Any crime come out that temple? Any problems in the neighborhoods come out of that temple?
Well, that's the thing. It used to be like that, but that shit got cleaned up since like 1996. So once again, we got to see how this shit go down, B. I give y'all this though. They ain't gonna find nothing too serious. So what y'all will see, if anything do go down, it's gonna be a situation of another organization getting railroaded. But me personally, I don't feel like nothing gonna come out of this shit. That's just my personal opinion.
A question was asked, and I'm gonna pose this to the panel, those who are able to respond. I know we got some that are just listening in. What is white supremacy? Can I get everybody's opinion on that? What is white supremacy?
It's in my opinion and how I define it, it's a political system used to keep one race of people up and other so-called races or ethnicities or nationalities at the bottom. A political system. So that's my definition of white supremacy.
Right. My definition of white supremacy is what we're going through right now. What we went through in the past, what we're going through right now, and what we're going to go through in the future. The bottom line is them motherfuckers being in control. And even if the cracker got to enslave his own to justify white supremacy, that's what we're going to go through. And it's still white supremacy. Because they could say, look, that nigga, that cracker is going through what you going through. Is that still white supremacy? Yes, the fuck it is.
Yeah, those are casualties. Those are write-offs.
Yeah, white sacrifice, which is AKA confusion.
Right.
That's a tool. Remember, we gotta know that confusion is a tool. And right now, we're confused on really what the fuck is really going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a tool to keep us at bay while they try to figure something out to really try to hold these brothers and sisters down for doing something positive in the community and spreading that. So yeah, confusion. I don't know, you know, those that's listening, look up the definition of confusion. That's also white supremacy racism, most definitely.
You know, when we look at white supremacy, we look at the systematic destruction of an ethnic group's culture. And I stress systematic destruction of an ethnic group's culture. Once you take a culture's resources, their ability to produce a gross domestic product, the natural ability to just produce, you now have that culture at your beck and call. If I control your food, your clothing, and your shelter, I control you. And these are the situations where we lack. And this is where we're going to have to start really meticulously thinking as a group, not worrying about who's superior or inferior. Because again, that's a circular argument, whether I'm inferior or superior. Because those are subjective to a person's perspective. Because were we ever in a superior position? Not to my recollection. I know not for 500 years, and I haven't met a 500-year-old human. I've yet to meet one. So I'm not going to go into the BCs and all that. I'm talking about what's going on right now, 500 years of this. So if we're dealing in 500 years of supremacy, we do understand that we are separated by six degrees that are very close to one another. Whether you're light-skinned, dark-skinned, whether you're Christian or Muslim, whether you're atheist or agnostic, these things are separating us. And it's causing us to lose the quality of thought and actually stop to even appreciate the quality of life. I think me and Nasir was talking one time, if you're there, Nasir. How many of us know how to take a vacation?
Exactly.
Do you know how? The European does every quarter, every 3 months. We'll detach. And that's not saying to justify the actions of the European. What it's saying is to ask yourself what's important to you. Because we have to start paying attention to our women, our children, men. Women, we got to start paying attention to loving yourself. You gotta start paying attention to those things because it disrupts the value of the home, man, woman, and child. That's the greatest resource that we have as non-white people, a man, woman, and child. Without that in place, then there's no connection. So there's no growth in our nation. There's no substantiation. So this is where we're losing the war at. And this is why, I didn't want it to be a long, drawn out show. But this is why I wanted to bring this particular situation to light. Because this will never make national news. Think about that. You won't hear this on CNN. You're not going to hear about this. Because it's not an economic issue strong enough to motivate the national news to come check this out. But you think about all the resources it took to bring all those national agencies into a local area. Let's think about that. Why? That cost Harlem a pretty penny for them to have to come in there and do that. Why? So I'm going to open the floor for any last comments before we close out, man. Brother Perry, Brother Nazir, Brother Al-Sir, Menace, Brother Heru. I digress the floor.
Yeah, let me, this Brother Nazir, I just want to make a quick statement because I had put something in the comment section, but peace to the panel, peace to the listening audience. Basically, y'all been hitting the nail on the head as far as, when Menace spoke, Kasu, Heru, everybody has been speaking on point, man, but we gotta keep it 100 too at the same time. There's been a lot of riffraff on social media. A lot of people putting information out there on social media. This has been going on for years. And not so much the group that's, that we're talking about tonight, but more so from at least what I observed, other groups. I posted the title to a video in the comment section. And I think the video was like Hebrew agents or something like that. So I can't. I'll post it again. But anyway, in this video, this brother has clips from various Hebrew camps. One particular camp goes in depth about the history, the personal history of the Hebrew Israelite organization in America. That used to be one of the generals in the old ISUPK school, or whatever the old school was. And I'm talking about, and the brother who narrated the video gives in-depth information about like money that was offered to various leaders, blase split. This is all public information. So if it's on YouTube, this public information. And Lyra Korheen just took over YouTube. So he takes any business to the next level. Let's just put it that way. He ran Def Jam. He ran 300, a bunch of other successful rap labels. So it's a reason they got him even on YouTube. To tap into certain markets, maybe to do better research to get to know you better. So you have these groups putting this information out on who took a check, who didn't take a check, how much the check was for. This in-depth information. This will send the feds your way. It's almost like we're in the streets and you got a guy dry snitching on another guy. What you think gonna happen to the police? What you think gonna happen? And then as a brother me said, that you gotta have your business in order at the end of the day. We see that now. You gotta have this serious. Whatever you're doing, especially in the public, you know what I'm saying? They trying to destroy the grassroots, creative ways we make money, that we survive out here. You know what I'm saying? And the difference in white supremacy and black supremacy, or what they want to call black hate groups and white hate groups, and why they don't go after white supremacists, because they own your trucking companies. They run the majority of the transportation industry that runs ships, trucks from one side of America to the other side. They own all your farmland. So Forrest Gump and Bubba is, they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and they're related to somebody important. This who, when you go out to the country, the rural areas, this who owns all that land out there. I'm in Michigan. When I go up in the country, all this land, all this farmland, huge acres, 500 acres. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why they don't attack them. That's why they don't go after them. And they have to come after you because you're a threat to that. So it's they actually need these people. You know what I'm saying? This is why they negotiated with the people up in Oregon. I think the Bundy Ranch or something like that. They negotiated with these people because they know what time it is. If you go after them, you're going after 50% of America. If you do that, these are the people supporting Donald Trump that he was sent in to rile up, and you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we have to take personal responsibility too. Whether I agree, and I'm speaking maybe for those who aren't brave enough to come on the show to say something, or brave enough to put it in the comment section, you know what I'm saying, to speak on the way the Hebrew Israelites have carried themselves. Whether you agree with them or not, I support their right to exist and to say whatever they want to say on any corner, anywhere they want to say it. That's their right, because I don't want nobody telling me what to do. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, those tactics from 1920 and 1900, are they still viable? Are they still needed in 2016, 2017 and going forward? That style of trying to reach people, because it seems like it's drawing more attention, more heat, you know what I'm saying, more painting these groups as this or that. You know what I'm saying? When cats could still be doing the same thing that they're doing, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's focusing on the economics and things like that. I mean, it's methods and strategies, you know what I'm saying, that we're going to have to use. So a lot of that they have brought on themselves, but I still support their right to exist and to do what they do. I don't care if it's a rival group on the street level, and you know what I'm saying, them people rush in. You don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I know cats that, you know what I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure you brothers know cats in y'all cities that then went to war and never involved the feds. And they probably got older, grown, and mature now, and they're able to see each other and it not be a thing. But they never involved them people. They handled it like men. If you're going to play that game, then play it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when we get on this level, it's like sometimes we forget, like, what I mean, it's like what social media that made you forget like reality, and that's what I'm talking about when we talk about balance. You won't hear. I mean, if you running up in churches and doing all this type of stuff, man, come on, what you expect, man? Come on, that come with that. If I run up in somebody else's spot, I'm stepping on where they get money at. That's like you running up in somebody's trap house. That's where they get money at. You don't think they're gonna attack you? The mafia didn't play fair. You had the most successful mafia members, and people forget this. They had the police on their side. Who got the most police? Who got the most judges? That's how they playing. So a rival group is going to want to take you down any kind of way they can. As you see, if you putting this stuff on YouTube, you snitching, you dry snitching. It's not like you're attacking a scholarship. You talking about that, and it's on the video that the brother that run the organization got a check. This is what they saying in this video, stuff like this. And these are other Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Giving in-depth information. So I think, you know what I'm saying, social media has played a big part. You know, but at the end of the day, man, this really isn't nothing new. The Hebrew Israelite organization has been in the news. You know, I mean, it's been in the news. If you Google it, you'll see a bunch of articles. A mother trying to keep her son from going overseas, joining one of the groups, and it's labeled in the news article as a cult group. This is like from 2009. They've been painting these groups, and this is not nothing new. It's the newest event. It's the newest occurrence. You know what I'm saying? But they've always attacked leaders. And you know, a lot of times though, they were dirty. They had stuff going on in their organizations. You look at what just happened with, you know what I'm saying, the Zulu Nation. When you look what happened with supposedly what happened with, I think, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. When you look what happened with Dr. York. I mean, it's all public information. This is where it's a million videos about this stuff. So it ain't like we breaking the code. I mean, it's public information. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's like, and I could see if you're giving the history, but all these brothers then passed away, they dead and gone. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like that generation has gone. Now you telling about the history. Cool. But a lot of these people, these brothers are talking about in these videos are still living. It's still here. Can you imagine if Big Meech was still on the streets and somebody was just like, yeah, running their mouth about him? Are you serious? Or if, you know what I'm saying, anybody, don't just have to be him, but anybody, that's not how you do it. That's not how you get out, man. And I think sometimes we let this conscious stuff, man, get us confused on rules and morals and ethics on how to carry ourselves as men. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like this is just real, how we gonna deal with one another. If we saying we family and we building, let's really carry that out, because if we don't carry that out, and I entrust myself and my family with you, and you go against that, man, come on, man, it's off with your head, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, that's how we got to do this thing. Like, come on, bro, it's a lot at stake here. If me and you go into business together, I can't have you backstab me, bro. Because I'm trying to trust you like I would hope that you be trying to trust me. And this is for our family. This is for generations. I didn't have cats do me like that. You know what I'm saying? I still haven't given up on my people, but I've experienced that to the point you faced with that decision. Off with your head or let it go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I know you're trying to end this, man. And
it's all good.
You know, it's just like, this is not new, man. I hate that it, you know what I'm saying, the brother on the phone here, part of that, I hate that came y'all way. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a lot of other stuff going on out here, man, that need to get addressed too. And maybe it won't ever get addressed, because you always gonna have that. Y'all rocking out, y'all doing y'all thing, as the brother said. That's commendable. At least y'all can be respected, because these other groups ain't doing that. They running their mouths and they talking too damn much on social media. Real talk. Right. Trying to one up the next guy, and you're gonna tell some personal information. I thought y'all was talking about the Bible.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, anybody else on the panel? Anybody else that as we're closing out? There were some powerful words by the brother Nazir. Really just real. Just basic stuff that you should already know. You know, really, if you growing up in this environment that we grow up in. But anybody else on the panel, man, before we close?
Right. I'm going to say this, right? If it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody. You know what I mean? Straight like that. We talking about the biggest Israelite group in known existence. You got all the elders over there. And like I said, man, if it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody. We talking about a group of people to keep everybody name out their mouth. They do what they do, and they've been keeping it pushing. You know, and a couple of y'all know me, and I don't even mention my group. I keep them out of what I do. That's how much respect I got from that, for that church and that school. And it's not a religious thing. But on another note, we got to see what happens. We got to see how this thing play out. So I just ask y'all brothers to keep your eyes open. You know, pay close attention to what's happening with that particular school and learn from it.
Yes, sir. I hear you. Brother O.S.I.R.I.S, Brother Menace, Brother Heru.
I mean, the both of the brothers really hit on point of some things I was going to say. They already said it. I would just want to say, basically repeat what the brother Maness said. This is a time that we need to aid and assist each other. Brother Hebrew Perry also said that this is the biggest church or the biggest gathering, the biggest group, and we all know that under white supremacy domination, they have this term where if you cut the head off, the body will fall. He said that also that a lot of these brothers and sisters that have other so-called camps that they basically studied under this group. So I just really hope, I just really hope, like the brother Nasi said, that if some brothers and sisters out there that's really keeping the principles and the morals and the code that we have amongst our community, that I really hope that nobody pointed no fingers or try to do no ill intentions or have any jealousy going against this group. I really hope that it's none of us that tried to throw these brothers and sisters under the bus for what they were trying to do and to stop them and try to be a pothole in the road for what they trying to do. I really don't have too much to say. I'm gonna yield the floor, but I just really hope that the brothers, like Nasi said, man, really hold these principles and morals that we all know. These are unwritten laws, you know what I'm saying? And we don't do that amongst our own. If we have any issues, like Kansu said, that we keep it in house. So anything outside of that, I just really want to send some positive energy, and I hope those brothers and sisters don't get deterred in they path as far as what they want to do for themselves and also their household and also their community. And this actually just be gasoline to the fire to keep them passionate. I like the brother, he mentioned the word that they try to say hate group, but those brothers are just passionate and sincere about what they're trying to do for their people, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I'm gonna yield the floor with that. And peace to the family.
Hey man, well said, famo. Well said. I do want to close with this. Number one, I do appreciate my brother Perry for even taking time out at the last minute, considering this situation, to come live and give us a perspective, because I felt it wouldn't be fair, because I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, I'm not of that faith, for me to give commentary on something that I'm completely in the dark on. And I thought that this would be an integrous way of getting this point across, and I do appreciate him taking time out of his evening to come and converse on the Team Osiris platform. That's greatly appreciated. I do appreciate from the Black Star Kickback, Brother O.S.I.R.I.S, who has his own platform 24/7. That's doing phenomenal work. I do appreciate him coming to speak. And of course, my Team Osiris members, Brother Nasir, Brother Menez, Brother Haru, the Team Osiris members that are not here, Brother Melvin, Brother Ngozi, Brother Kufu, Brother Cameron, Brother Christopher. Man, if I met whoever I forgot, our Brother Geechee, Brother Joseph, Brother Danny. Goodness, man, I don't know. I got anybody else? Brother Ahmed, Brother Sister PP, Brother Waza. Oh man, I mean we got it's a couple more, man. Bro.
Yeah, man, we growing, man. We growing, man.
I don't know, man. We got a nation. It's a nation of Team Osiris members. And we all got one soul. And that's what we try to promote. We promote everybody understanding that we all are one soul. And we got to infinitely resurrect, man, in spirit and in science. We got to infinitely resurrect. We got to be able to always take something good out of something negative and build upon it and make it better, man. Because we against what the system that we against, I'm telling you right now, the system don't give a damn about the shade of your color or anything like that. A non-white person is expendable. A non-white person is a byproduct to white supremacy. And you're going to always be utilized like a Duracell battery in a radio, man. You're going to always be utilized. So understand that. Let's galvanize. It's not about unity of action, but let's get unified in thought, man. Let's move as one body, one soul. So with that being said, Kansu Shesh Moamun, Team Osiris, we out.